Hello everybody. We're delighted to welcome Dame Sarah Connolly into the National Opera Studio for this very special event. A masterclass with 3 National Opera Studio young artists. Soprano Julieth Lozano, who attended the studio last year in 2019 to 20, followed by 2 of this year's young artists, tenors Philip Clieve and mezzo-soprano Arlene Belli, and accompanied by our young artist repetiteurs, Marlowe Fitzpatrick and Nadia Kisseleva. Before I hand you over to Sarah, I'd like to just take the opportunity to inform you that our training is covered entirely so that it can be free to young artists by Arts Council England, by our partner opera companies, and by a group of very dedicated supporters, some of whom are here today, and for which we're really very grateful. A growing number of supporters help us to shape our work and to ensure that the training remains free to young artists into the future. If you'd like any more information, please do visit our website, www.nationaloperastudio.org.uk, to find out more. And now, without further ado, I will hand over to Dame Sarah Connolly and the first of our young artists. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I've got wonderful talent here today, and it's a real pleasure to be here and to share, to listen to their talent and ask them how they feel about the music they're singing and how it can evolve from there. And I'm just here to pick hairs. And this morning in our little run through, there were 1 or 2 vowel sounds I was correcting because it was sometimes a bit dark, or the Lucretia interests me psychologically as well. So lots to talk about, and I hope you enjoy lovely Julieth, who's going to sing some Handel. Furie, terribili from Rinaldo. And it's Armida's first entrance. I'm going to take this off now. It's Armida's first entrance, and she's a bit cross.
Very.
Brilliant. We talked earlier about Julieth having more contact with the vowel sounds on the circondatemi, and you really did. Seguidatemi, because the orchestra is going hell for leather throughout this whole aria. So there's no time for subtlety. There's no possibility of subtlety. But when you go down to the lower notes, bar 50, Furie, terribili, those need much more chest. You can do it.
Yes.
Would you mind giving us an example of that?
Yeah.
You've just done the high A.
Mm-hmm.
That was fine.
There?
That was fine.
Okay.
But it's the one after that wasn't. So what's an E?
E flat, sorry.
It's a bar 45 I wanted you to go from there.
Oh, yeah, I can go from 45.
Try again. It was all a bit confusing. Are we all on, right?
Yeah.
Right, let's
Is
just...
it from the first Furie terribili or the second?
The first one.
Furie. Okay.
And I want you to, as you come down the phrase, give more attention to terribili every time, because the terribili is the plural of how terrible all the different elements of my rage are. It's never the same.
Yeah.
You know, all the things I'm going to do to you for not listening to me, I think, make them more interesting, make them more different. Each one. And ugly, especially the second one.
Yeah.
Would you give me a B, please?
B, sorry. B flat.
All right, never mind. Terribili. Yeah. And you're a soprano, so you can make that ugly there. For me, it's not so ugly, but for you, you can make it ugly. Right? So give it a go. I mean, usually Armida's prowling around in the middle of the stage or even towards the back, and the orchestra's pounding away at the front. So the more text and barky sounds in the lower part of your voice, it's gonna read.
Okay.
Would you try both of them, please?
Yes.
Furie terribili. Push it through. Terribili. Can you do that?
I'm scared that's gonna go.
Do it.
That's fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Terribili. Can you go E?
E, yeah.
E. E.
E.
You're always going to be safe on an E vowel. You're not going to hurt anything.
Okay.
It's all right. So that's fine.
Okay.
But always keep it in the mask, because the minute it goes is when things go wrong. So
Yeah.
E. Terribili. That's it. That's good.
From since there? Or?
I think they were both fine. Okay. So let's go from the second one.
Yes.
Where are we going to breathe? Where do you think is... It's a hell of a long way to go.
Yes, I was doing it until the D, after I sing the D and then breathe there, break the super long note. I know it's not the...
No, it's fine. Everyone does it. So I think... So start with a slow... And then you can do a little wobble on it. But I think if you're clear to the audience that you're doing a slow, you're breathing, and I'm going to do a slow, rather than just breathe and come in again.
Yes.
So don't make an apology for breathing. It's just impossible to do that in one.
It's too long.
And then you can vibrate and do whatever you like, cadenza, anything.
Okay.
But be clear what you're doing. So that if you're doing a flattened sixth there, make sure that we hear that. Yeah. So, seguita. Right. Always appoggiatures, as you know, in this time period, start on the upper note. So if you leave a note and come back to it and do appoggiatura, don't start on the same note, start from the note above.
Okay.
So, and then trill. Yeah.
Okay.
Leave it and then come back on the semitone higher.
Okay.
So, would you just do me a favour, because I think you can make more sound on this, and do it on an E vowel.
Okay.
Seguita, seguita, or air sounds. Because R is getting going a bit far back. Keep it forward. That's better. Right. Now don't do that ornament there. You're getting behind.
Okay.
And you'll get a conductor screaming at you, and we don't want that. Don't give them fodder to scream at you.
Okay.
All right? So don't do anything fancy, because it won't be heard. No, don't be pretty with this music. Right. I think that's calling out for something a bit more impressive there. What do you think?
Yes. I wasn't sure how flashy you can be in...
Crazy flashy. Any old flash. Big flash. Give me a D, please.
A D.
D, yeah. To me. Da 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 to me, or something like that. It's got to be dramatic. You can't to me, because what's that? It's. What do you think? Something. Da 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 to me, something like that. The audience has to feel like they've had their face slapped with this music after every phrase. It's because she is in a fury and she's tearing around the stage, having just descended from heavens in a black cloud, literally a black cloud. So she's black in mood, and she wants to really frighten the audience. So anything that is da to me, unless you do something like that, da to me, or a high note. But then you've got one after. You could do up to the B flat there.
Oh, yeah.
And hang on, what's the harmony there? Could you play it for me? Confetti. I know. Could be an A.
Could be.
Yeah, could be an A. But I'm just saying for future, not right now. There's no need to think about it now. Think about doing something with it after the end of that melisma.
Okay.
Because it just falls a bit nicely, and we don't want nice. And then the orchestra finishes it off. Right.
But if, for example, if I do this one either today or any other day, then the consonant of temi has to be dirty. Like
It does,
that.
really, yeah. And I've been talking earlier about getting the Italian nya sound, and this is one of those temi, right behind the nose, and it won't sound nasal. It does when I speak it, but when you sing temi, so mixed with enough resonance, it'll have that desired blade on it. You might not even need to do anything with it, but if you really think, in the moment, and then the orchestra will come in quite quickly. Temi, plonk, confetti, terribili, whatever it is you choose to do there.
Okay. It feels a bit like a rock star.
Do you know, it is, it really is. I mean, she comes down, like Elton John, but no, not Elton John. One of these moments where he, begins a concert, or, like these big rock concerts where somebody comes with a huge flash and there's red lights and smoke. And it's one of these moments. Yeah. And that was so much better than this morning, earlier today. Seguidatemi, I don't really need to say anything about that. It's all great. It's going well. Do you want to do the next piece?
Yes.
This is Manon.
Very different.
Do you want to quickly say?
Yes. So this is Manon's first aria. And in this moment, she's just arrived after her first time traveling outside, and she's very overwhelmed, and she's talking to her cousin, and she just starts how do you say this, blabbering, talking,
verbal diarrhea.
Yes, exactly.
And how old is she?
16.
Yeah.
Je suis encore tout étourdie. Je suis encore tout engourdie. Excusez-moi, excusez un moment dis-moi. Je suis encore tout étourdie. Par les amants bavardages, j'en suis à mon premier voyage. Les pages s'éloignaient à peine que j'admirais de tous mes yeux les amants, les grands bois, la plaine. Les voyageurs, je ne suis vieux, non ça, excusez-moi, c'est mon premier voyage. Je regarde filles curieuses, les arbres frissonnant au vent, et j'oublie toute joyeuse que je partais pour les couvents, pour les couvents, pour les couvents. Devant tant de choses nouvelles, n'arrivez pas si je vous dis que je croyais avoir besoin. Et m'envoler au paradis. Oui, mon cousin. Oui, j'ai un moment de tristesse, je pleure. Je ne sais pas quoi. L'instant d'après, je le confesse, je riais, mais sans savoir pourquoi. Ah, mon cousin, excusez-moi. Ah, mon cousin, pardon. Je suis encore tout étourdie. Je suis encore tout engourdie. Par les amants bavardages, j'en suis à mon premier voyage.
Ah, it's fabulous. That is really, really lovely. I want to say je suis en. It's all a bit je suis. Je suis.
Okay. Je suis.
That's it. Je suis encore is long. Encore. Just say it for me. Je suis encore.
Je suis encore.
No, you'll go encore. It's encore.
Encore. Oh, I see.
There's no stop.
Je suis encore tout étourdie.
Yes. It's a habit you've got into. You're going to have to break that one.
Yes.
Je suis encore. It goes from the nasal to the open. Encore, encore, not encore. Tout étourdi, it's all great. I'm just being Mrs. Pick. Excusez un moment was a bit too strong. Excusez un moment de moi. That was so much better. De moi. I love the exuberance and the sort of flashes of light and dark. I don't think, you might disagree, that she knows anything about the convent and what it might mean for
No,
her.
I think you're right. I tried now something different, but I think you're right because so soon she says devant, she forgets about it so quickly.
Yeah. So when you say pour le couvent, She says it several times, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Je partis pour le combat, je partis. And I like the way you ended it, with that melancholy, that tristesse. I don't know what it means. Well, I don't know what it's about. I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
There was one thing. Je pleurais, je ne sais pas quoi. Play that straight. Don't find it funny yourself.
Okay.
Let us find it funny. I cry. I have no idea why. I don't know why I cry. I don't know why I laugh. But I don't know why I cry. So don't judge yourself. It's difficult because when you're singing something, I don't know why I do that. And then you might find it funny afterwards that you've said that. So, je pleurais, je ne sais pourquoi. Beats me why I cry 1 minute and laugh the next. It's teenagers. So don't be knowing and laugh at yourself. That's again, these are tiny little points, but it just helps the sincerity of your character. You are very sincere and sweet and gorgeous, and I think your extrovert laughing can be more on the G's. Go for it. I mean, just laugh. It's hard when they're all written out like that.
It's difficult also because I laugh low.
Yeah, don't we all?
And then laughing there is like.
Yeah. How about going from le cloche, le coche, the coach. Le coche s'éloignait à peine.
Le coche s'éloignait à peine que j'admirais de tout monsieur. Les amants, les grands.
More tone there. We talked about how important it is to sing on the voice and not too much of this bouncing around. Les amants, les grands bois. Da, da, da. Because you've just had a little chatty bit before, so give us the contrast. Don't be too baroque about it.
Le coche s'éloignait à peine que j'admirais de tout monsieur. Les amants, les grands bois la peine. Et puis je ne sais plus. Oh, cosa, excusez-moi, c'est mon premier voyage. Je regarde filles curieuses, les arbres frissonnant au vent, et j'oubliais toutes joyeuses que je partais pour le couvent, pour le couvent, pour le couvent. De bon temps de choses nouvelles, rien si je vous dis.
I'm going to suggest that you don't do that shrug there, because that's judging again.
Yes.
Pour le couvent. God, what is that place? I've no idea. Next thought. So don't judge yourself. Let us go, oh, poor girl, she doesn't really know anything. So, pour le couvent, pour le couvent. Next thought.
Okay.
It's anything to make you seem young. And young people know, really young people, 15, 16, they don't know what anything is in that in your time, unlike today perhaps, but in
my time I had
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, then you were so sheltered you wouldn't have known pour le couvent. Our next thought. So let us see the change, the snap.
Okay. Je regarde des filles curieuses.
Je regardais fuir. Now I don't hear the word fuir. Fuir.
Fuir.
Fuir.
Fuir.
R.
Fuir.
Yep. It's that much. Fuir. Curieuse. Fuir. Curieuse. Fuir. Fuir. I'm afraid that's one of those things you have to practice.
Yeah.
But we must hear the fuir. Because fuir is past tense.
This word, I have to tell you, it haunts me.
Yeah.
There was a Rameau thing that I did, and the only aria I had was fi, fi, portai, erde, fi, fi, and it's said 100 times.
Horrible.
And now every time I see it, I'm like.
Think of fi. Think of fi.
Fi, okay.
Fi. Fuir.
Fi,
Fuir.
fi.
You say it. Go on. Again. Fuir. It's hard, isn't it? Fuir. Fuir. Fuir.
Okay.
Just you've got to we've got to understand it. That's
Yes.
all. Boring. But how about going from les voyageurs?
Mm-hmm. Les voyageurs, je ne sais plus. Cousin, excusez-moi, c'est mon premier voyage. Je regarde fuir, curieuse, les arbres frissonnant au vent, et je me tombe joyeuse que je partais pour les couvents, pour les couvents, pour les couvents. Devant tant de choses nouvelles, ne riez pas si je vous dis que j'ai croyais avoir des oui, mon cousin. J'ai un moment de tristesse troublée. Je ne sais pas quoi. L'instant d'après, je le confesse. J'ai ri, mais sans savoir pourquoi.
I bet a director will ask you to swizzle round there or do something crazy, but
Yes.
in a big skirt or a nice. So just be aware that will help.
Okay.
It will actually help something like that. This weird standing still singing music like this, given that you would be darting around the stage anyway and talking to anyone and everything.
And seeing a lot of things, because most of the productions I've seen have a lot of
Yeah, stuff
things
going on.
happening
It's
around.
actually quite good discipline to sing it standing still, because then you just focus on the technical stuff. But actually this kind of thing is helped by movement, and you can play with your costume and swing your skirt, or if you're holding something you can twizzle it, or you know, just something that helps all these seem a bit sort of strange standing still. Anyway, it's great. I love the way you went into Je suis again and didn't break. It's charming. Just lift Je suis. I want to see your teeth. You go to do Je suis. You cover your top teeth with your top teeth with your top lip. Je suis. I want to see your teeth.
Okay.
I just go from after your laugh. Ah, mon cousin, excusez-moi.
Okay. Ah, mon cousin, excusez-moi. Ah, mon cousin, pardon. Je suis encore tout étourdie. Je suis encore tout.
You see?
Yeah.
Yeah. You did it the first time,
Yeah.
and then you went back to covering your teeth again.
Yes.
No, you'll get it. You'll get it now. Now when you do work with a mirror, yes?
Yes.
Right. Very important.
It's not nice, but yes.
It's horrible. But actually, yeah, it does, you do notice these things.
Yeah. Okay.
It's great. It's really wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Got nothing more to say. She's brilliant. Well, we're going to hear a bit of Lucretia, both from male chorus and from Lucretia herself later on. And we're going to start with the Ride to Rome, where the male chorus, his character is sort of, I see the male chorus and the female chorus as very much related to the ancient Greek orators, narrators, who not only were telling the story, but they were part of the aesthetic and the ethos and the ethics of this time. And I found something interesting. Britten's Lucretia embraces the old Greek ideas of the artist as ethical and aesthetic interpreter of life. They held the belief that the psychological effect of art, especially music, could profoundly influence the constitution of the state. Now, if only. And that going back to, because I'm singing some Britten Purcell songs coming up, and I'm always interested to hear, and I do hear, in all this recitative in Lucretia, Purcell, quite clearly. And I feel that his influence, I wrote these down earlier, his clarity, his strangeness, tenderness and attack, astonishing range and variety of subtlety and colour from small forces, as in, Dido and a lot of these, whatever you would call them, scenes that Purcell set, not necessarily operas. And also from the fact that you've only got 12 instruments here and 8 protagonists. So it's setting up the same sort of intimacy and responsibility of ensemble with everybody, and including your character, who I think is the person who holds it all together. God, I'll take this off. Why am I terrible? Holds it all together, and interestingly, as you were saying earlier, you identify, and it's kind of expected today, you identify not just with Tarquinius, but with others too, and that they identify with you. I thought that's interesting osmosis effect, is that it's not just the male chorus is reading Tarquinius's mind, but maybe you're steering Tarquinius too. Because you say things, who's to say what comes first? You are his conscience, his whole understanding. You understand more. You're all-seeing character. Anyway, I'll stop telling you. You just do your thing, and so I thought that was interesting. So you're going to start at the point when...
So it's just at the point where Julieth has planted the seed in Tarquinius's mind that, well, she's you can have everything, you're a prince, but you can't have her, can you? She's really chaste. And anyway, good night.
Yes.
Because his wife, of course, hasn't been chaste, and he's had the mick taken out of him, and Collatinus is obviously mightier than now, holier than now, has gone to bed, and Julieth has just left this little seed in Tarquinius's mind. And the last thing on the page before I sing is "Good night, Tarquinius," and it's this sort of thing in his mind where he's going, "Oh,
there is no good night. It's
exactly.
only tomorrow morning." Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. If you're too hot, anyone do take jackets off. It's up to you. I'm not saying you have to. So we're starting from there. Yes. to stop you there. That's beautiful. Really lovely. You've set that up. I would suggest you sing the last Lucretia almost like you smell her. And then you might want to close your eyes and take it in to yourself to do something different. You don't have to do that, but it's just none of these things you have to do. It's just a suggestion that she's become, you know, part of you. You will probably have Tarquinius very close to you at this point. I liked so much of that. I really liked the way you kept your eyes still. And that I would suggest, when you've got a new thought, if you think that thought quite early, and then when the words come, it comes out of that thought. Don't have the thought and sing. Have the thought and then, it is not far to Rome. So that you're telling us what you're thinking as it happens, rather than, it is not far to Rome. So it fills the bar. So what are you doing? You just said, Lucretia's my empire. I wonder. It is not far to Rome, rather than, it is not far to Rome. You see what I mean? So fill the bar, preceding bar, with the thought. And we talked earlier about male chorus possibly lying to the audience, because everybody knows the story for this. It's in the title. We know what's going to happen. So maybe, oh, go to bed, Tarquinius. We talked about whether he means that, or do you want him to go to Lucretia's house? Does the male chorus, are you what's the word, provoking? Are you prodding him to go? Oh, and then you suddenly have a moment where you're coming out of character. Say, oh, don't go. But you could be like, oh, don't go, do go. So maybe turn away from the audience there. Oh, go to bed. Or when you're telling somebody a lie, you don't look at them in the eye, usually, unless you're a very good liar. But if you're a bad liar, you don't look people in the eye. So maybe don't look at the audience. Oh, go to bed. But it would be more interesting if you didn't. You know, so maybe just turn away for that one. And always let the words come out of a thought that you've already been thinking. So, and you've got lots of time off between thoughts. So use those empty bars to mull over what you're about to say. Let it just come out of what you're saying. Not far. And again, the not far to Rome. Don't begin with the lascivious thought. It's not far to Rome. Not far. Not far. Not far. So that it builds. Don't go, it's not far to Rome, you know. Got it? So you just start. Start, it's not far to Rome. Not far. Not far at all. It's more interesting to build a thought than to labour it. But it was a great idea to do that. But just cool it until you have the moment. How about going from the excellent, but I am the... I loved your change of character there. It was brilliant. But I am the Prince of Rome. I can do what I like. And Lucretia's in my sights, as it were, because you already are the empire. She's in my sights. I will have her. And it's not far to Rome. Okay? Play it cool.
But I am the Prince of Rome, and Lucretia's eyes my empire. It is not far to Rome, not far to Rome, not far.
Yeah, that's more powerful. That's much more powerful. Well, you might want to consider not going with the music at all. You know, in this moment, and Lucretia's eyes, my empire, and you've got all this music which is slightly binding. You sort of feel one needs to be still. But if you're introducing a new thought, you could like go, it is not far to Rome. You know, break it up a bit. I mean, if you want, even though we're in a situation, if you were to do this in an audition, you might want to do it is not far to Rome. You know, it's very important in recital and auditions that we give ourselves a large circle within which we can perform. Don't feel stuck.
Yeah.
Especially if the music is like this, intense. Do give yourself a circle. People who come to see me sing Lieder know that I do move around. I do this and that, or whatever. Be natural. And if you're what you just did there, that's great too. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's not far to Rome. But only if it's natural. Don't be... you know, now I've told you, you're going to do... but, you know, if you're just sort of thinking something, it's not far to Rome. You know, just something so you don't get stuck in this heavy music.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting you do it there. You can do it anywhere. But don't feel stuck. Try not to feel stuck. How about going from after It's Just Not Far? We've done that. That was great. Tell us about the lie you're going to tell.
Okay.
Go to bed.
Yes.
Oh, go to bed, darkness. Go to bed.
Don't indicate you know that.
Yeah.
Let the audience decide from your words what that means. You don't need to feed the audience every single thought. He's asleep, she's got no defense. No chance. Let the audience decide what that means. You're just giving them the information here. The city sleeps, Calatin sleeps, Lucretia. So just give them the information. Britten hasn't given you any indication to do anything there. So you can take it all in. It's all going to go down very badly very soon. So you're just setting the scene.
Okay.
Do as little as possible.
Why not?
It sounds so beautiful what you're doing. Keep it simple and give us the information. Let's just go from the lights. Keep the tension. Yes, it's great. I would suggest you give a bit more the first time. A bit more danger in the voice, a bit more, I don't know, something a bit more edgy. It's all within legato, but I think you can afford to... They've got tenutos on each note.
Yeah.
So don't make it too bel canto. It's a little bit more urgent. The second one you can do what you like, but the first one I think should have a bit more through gritted teeth. Now. Isha. Quaver.
Yeah.
It makes it more edgy.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure. Isha. Stop dead.
Happiness does not wait for his servants to wait, or his groom to saddle. His net is a bridle, and pushing the hybrids through the piece where white teeth runs him out of the stable, mounts with a curb or saddle, the stallion shot straight back. And with heel and with knees, clicks his tongue, flicks his whip, throws the brute into mad gallop, impetuous the proud flank, and reckless the rider. Now the prince and Arab steed bend as one for the sweet. Here the hooves punish the earth, martial strain of tendons taut, tail and eye, head thrust back, horse compact, nothing slack. See the horse takes the bit between his teeth. Now no rein can impede or stop him, yet the prince still whips him. Now right to his reed, Tarquinius the stallion, or the beast Tarquinius, in both blood furious, with desire impetuous, burns for its creators. With speed of flame, through sweat and dust, the arrow flies straight as lust, flies straight as lust. But here they cannot cross. Turn back, Tarquinius. Try to swim this river. Stallion wheels, hooves pull stars. The prince desires, so he dares. Now stallion and rider wake the sleep of disturbing its cool dream with hot flank and shoulder. Tarquinius knows no fear. His cross is hanging in Lucretia.
Bravo. Fabulous. Well done.
Thank you.
He writes so well for tenor. My goodness me. Wonder why. That was really superb, and your fronts of the words were really strong this time. They're such quick learners, these guys. I just mentioned it once this morning or earlier today, and you absolutely got it. I was just pointing out that when I was at ENO, Tony Legg, the head of music, used to sit in the auditorium in rehearsals and yell out from the back row, "Can't hear you!" What? And he always used to say it's the front of the word is more important than the final consonant, because then we have a fighting chance of knowing what the word is if we know how it begins. but with no idea if we're just doing the last consonant because the word's gone. So I thought that was so much better. So there's massive tongue twisters in this as well. Muscles strained, tendons taut, tall head held high, head thrust back. All's come back. I love the way you said nothing slack. See the horse take the bit between its teeth, whips him. That was all great. Impetuous. Quite a thing to learn, isn't it?
Oh,
rhythmically, yeah. Kind of cross, turn back. Tarquin. Now that's when we decided you would look away. But so given that I didn't hear you do it earlier, I think maybe that one you wouldn't turn away. It felt wrong. Maybe the first time you sang it.
Yeah.
But not that time. I think you can do a bald-faced lie to everyone and just say, brazen it out for everyone. Turn back, Tarquinius. Don't. It's too exciting. So I think just wowing it out there for that one.
Yeah.
You can look a little concerned, but I think ultimately you are with him on that horse, and we're with you. That's the only way we know what's happening is through you. Yes, your B flat's fabulous. Now, my only concern is right at the beginning, Tarquinius does not dare. We talked earlier about recitative being too quiet. And while I'm not asking to give more, he says senza voce, which means more consonants to me. So I would say it's almost a stage whisper, but operatic stage whispers have to be a little bit more because we have, unlike play stage whispers, because they've got something underneath, even though it's very quiet. So menacingly, Tarquinius does not dare. Can you give me more of that flavour?
Yeah.
Would you mind just giving? Sorry, did you have a question?
Is it later on in the piece? There's a similar sort of. I mean, it's marked slightly differently, but this is a panther agile.
Yes.
Panther, that
Yes.
sort of.
Yes. Very much so. If it says senza voce, I'll have to find that bit. Will you find that bit for me? Or is that the oatmeal slippers of sleep moment? It's always my favourite line. It depends on the register.
Here it is. The pity is that sin has so much grace. It moves like virtue.
That's it.
Back.
Yep. Back. That's the Peter Pears. Back, Tarquinius.
Yes.
Back, Tarquinius. But I think, and that's got crosses through the notes. So that's most definitely parlando. But this, he hasn't given crosses, but he says senza voce. So swing it so that we, right at the back of the Colosseum, in the gods, actually it's quite good acoustic up there. I would say the worst acoustic is in the dress circle at the back, under the hood. That's when you need to think about making sure they hear it.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about being multo-dramatic, just really make it hear, make it understood.
Okay. Can we play around and have a few sort of...
Go for it. How about just 2 bars before, please, Nadia? He says più forte, having gone from pianissimo, which is crescendo, to probably piano. So I think there's been more of a shock element there. When you get a bit more... But the first statement I thought was brilliant. Tarquinius. I'm sorry.
Some places before, yes, please.
Tarquinius does not dare. When Tarquinius does not desire.
That's great. I just wanted to make you aware that there were two different thoughts.
Yes.
There's a semicolon after desire, implying that, but I am the prince of Rome. So if he doesn't desire it, he doesn't get, he's not interested. It's only if he desires it. I think David McVicker said famously, he'll either kill it or, screw it. But that's how he is. That's how Tarquinius is.
Yeah.
He said a worse word than screw, but we don't need to do that here. But that is very much the nature of this particular Tarquinius. So I think to have a duality going on there, both are completely awful and brutal with the same result at the end. He kills everything.
Yes.
Trust amongst his fellow men. Junius, I think, is a really unpleasant character, so I think it's interesting that they've got the two brutes, really. And Calatinus is seen as the uncle who doesn't understand either of them. But he's been there to keep the peace. And my question was, why doesn't Calatinus go home and see his wife? He never does. And he hasn't been for years to see her, so as far as we know, what's going on there, you know? So Tarquinius has definitely seen her far more than Calatinus has, which is interesting. So, is there anything else you would like to ask me?
No, I think we've covered it, really.
Well, I thought a lot of it's absolutely brilliant from you. I'm just trying to think. You've got the front of the words, you've got the meaning, everything's brilliant. I look forward to hearing you do this in real life. I shall come and see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome, Arlene.
Hello.
Arlene. How do I say your name?
Arlene.
Arlene is going to sing the moment, Lucretia,
Yeah.
the moment when.
And just after she wakes up after having been raped, so not a very nice waking up, but still, yeah.
And she's not really feeling as though she's in reality. She's in that, what just happened, I don't know. So when she sends for Calatinus, she's not sure what she's saying. And then halfway through she realizes, what's the point in him coming to rescue me? Because there's nothing to rescue. I'm nothing special. I'm just like all the other women now. I have nothing. I've lost my power. I have nothing. He won't want to come back to me. So she finds it weirdly ironic that anybody that Calatinus would want to come back to somebody who's had impure thoughts and been raped, which I think is a very common, what I hear is a very common feeling of unworthiness and irony. So Britten brilliantly, given that it was 1940, understood this and wrote this brutal self-revelation. It's utterly amazing. And I was wondering in rehearsals, how far did they go with the conversation about this? And what kind of conversations would they have had in 1940 about rape and humiliation? It's very interesting. Anyway, I look forward to seeing and hearing you do this.
Give
again, I'm just going to...
I tried to do what you were asking me before.
You did it? Wow. I wish I'd told you what that was. What was it I was asking you to do?
And especially in and
Yes.
So keeping the sound spinning in the back, like as thinking of an E sound.
Nasal, yeah, high.
Instead of putting it all forward and very rounded but very heavy, let's say.
And putting it in the nose or
Yeah.
behind the eyes, up in the sinuses, means you have more control of the dynamics there, because if it's forward, you just get one sound, but if it's back, it's closer to the and you can control the sound more. But if it's forward, for example, a big Wagnerian exclamation like Wotan, you're going to put it really forward because that's where the maximum resonance is up there. But if you're trying to do and time, you want to put it back into the resonance up here, which you did amazingly.
Halfway.
There was only one, no, you really did. There was only one word I'd like you to put back, and that is the word man. Women bring to every, you just left the E vowel. Now can you use that E vowel to access the back again? Because it's got too loud too soon.
Okay.
And then one runs out of breath on defection. It's easily done, believe me. So keep it mezzo forte.
Okay.
It says con più voce ed anima. It doesn't mean forte for you.
Okay.
I would say you've just come out of thief. So I would make it maximum mezzo forte.
Okay.
And then you can grow on to debauched by vanity, and then you are forte. So keep it between mezzo piano, mezzo forte. Women bring to every man behind. Man.
Because I searched man, but it's not man.
Well, when you listen to Janet Baker sing Where Corals Lie, the land where corals lie, she doesn't go land, she goes land.
Okay,
Land.
gotcha. I'm so happy.
Land where corals, it's not land, it's land where corals. A lot of Elgar has at vowels, but in order to control them, you have to put the sound into it. Otherwise, it's just too loud the whole time. So, would you give me a B flat, please? Women bring to every man the same defection. And then that's a mezzo forte, mezzo piano.
Okay.
You've got control. And it doesn't sound too nasal, does it? Doesn't sound too nasal. But again, you play with it.
Okay.
But man was too forward from you that time.
Okay, mezzo forte però.
Would you just try it to an E vowel, the whole thing?
Okay.
No consonants.
So no.
No consonants, just E
Just
vowel.
vowels?
Just vowels. E.
Okay.
E. There you are. There you are. There you are. That was all within the canopy of mezzo forte.
Okay.
It didn't pop out.
Okay.
So practice it to an E vowel and practice it to the vowels there, and use the every to take you into man, and sing on the M vowel.
Okay.
Every man. Put the M on the D.
Okay.
Every man the same different.
Okay.
And lovely Italians have this ancora, which is the NG, which is a great way of finding controlled resonance.
Yeah. And what about the defection?
Defection.
Yeah, but because generally they ask me, like, we worked with some conductors and they were asking me to do defection very marked.
That's weird.
Okay. Perfect.
I think what she meant was maybe it's a strange word and we want to hear it. What is it? Because it's not a word that's very common. The same as you, unlike Italian, when you do it very well, English has splashy consonants, even the D's, even the voiced consonants are splashy sometimes. D, 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 D. Maybe a bit wetter. Same D, but maybe if you give it the same length, not diffection, but defection.
Okay.
Maybe make the note a bit longer, but don't bump it.
Okay. Really.
Brilliant. Nice, another one.
Okay.
So, it's brighter.
Louder
And
again.
I don't know about you, but I don't like flowers. I like flowers. Hardly change, but flower. I think leave the W out.
Okay.
Flowers. Change the vowel, but not via the W.
Okay.
Flowers. I'm not Welsh. Flowers. Sorry to all the Welsh people. Flowers.
Flowers.
Maybe not.
Flowers.
Flowers. But something in between.
Okay. I'll try my best. Okay.
So,
Sorry.
it's more not flowers. Flowers. That'll do, that's fine.
Fine?
That's fine.
Okay.
Long vowels coming up, long vowels. I think the reason why this needs to be long vowels is because you've got quite a lot going on underneath you. You don't want to have bouncy consonants on this. This is not a parlando moment.
Okay.
This is molto legato.
I thought it was more parlando.
No.
Okay.
No, I think it's actually more powerful if we hear everything.
Okay.
It's painful. It should be painful. It's painful for you, but I think I don't want to do it. You do it. It's not my show. Right. Hide needs more pain.
Okay.
To hide my shame, let the pureness. I've got a fly that's very interested in me.
Yeah. Hello.
And I would do a little r in there because it's a strange word. Be my wreath, be my wreath, my wreath. It just helps it clear for the person in the under the dress. And you will probably have to make a wreath while you're singing this. And if your flower making skills are anything like mine, Catherine Wynne Rogers used to pick it up and say, "Madam, you have made a wreath?" Collapsible nonsense. Yes. I taught you how to read, yes. Anyway, so give him this orchid. I wouldn't point.
Okay.
At the beginning. You're holding it. So you chuck it at him.
Okay.
You've got quite a lot. You know, you've got a big bunch. And it's who's got them before? It's Bianca has them. The most perfect orchids I have ever seen.
Okay.
Here, my lady. So she's handing them to you, okay? How hideous. Take them away. But they're such lovely flowers. These are the orchids you have grown. Take them away. I tell you, monstrous flowers. So she does take them away. And then you run to her and you snatch them out of her hand. Or she puts them down on a table. But she wouldn't put them on the floor.
Yeah, well, I was imagining a table because...
Yeah, I think pointing, I mean, I'm only thinking of you doing this in an audition competition type situation.
Okay.
If you do that, you're pointing at the panel.
It's better to do this. Okay.
So I would say, or that,
Okay.
or that, or, you know, give it. And then the second time, give him this orchid. You can just go,
Yeah.
that's enough. But pointing in general is a bit of a no-no in this business, I've found. Unless you are pointing for a specific reason, like you're a vicar or doing something like that, or you. But I'm thinking of you in a situation where you'll be doing this other than a production.
Yeah.
And you must do this for audition. Don't point.
Okay.
So what might you do?
Keep it. It's good.
Yeah. You might want to do da 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 da. Give him, yes. So you'd snatch it from the table or from Bianca's departing. You know, whatever. You're snatching it. Give him this orchid. Give him this orchid. Tell him a Roman harlot sent it. Go, go, go! And then you see the irony of it. What's the point? Which you did very well. No. And I would say the beginning, when you stepped forward, I wasn't sure about that. Because when you snatch something, you tend not to move, one doesn't move forward. Does one? Give it! Yeah. I would be careful of doing that right at the start. By all means, do it. Go, go, go! For that moment. But give him this orchid and tell him a Roman harlot sent it. On. Go! Maybe don't step forward at the beginning, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Do you want to try that?
Yes.
What message, madam, shall I give the messenger to take to Lord Calatinus?
Give it this orchid, tell him I find its purity apt, and that its petals contain all its pleasure and all its pain, and on of Lucretia's shame. Give him this orchid, and tell him a Roman harlot sent it, and tell him to run straight to her, tell him to come on. Go, 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 go!
And you open yourself up for that moment.
Okay.
That is protecting. That is like, take a bite out of me.
Okay.
So
well, I thought because she realized
not
she's protecting.
until the end.
Okay.
For all men love the chaste Lucretia. And that's dropped. But you begin furioso. Ah!
Okay.
So be open with that. Hurry, hurry, for all men love the chaste Lucretia. And then you crumble
Okay.
during that melisma. Don't crumble too soon.
Okay.
Well, it's great otherwise, don't you think? That was fantastic. I love that snatching.
See,
Yeah.
I like it too.
Anything else you want to ask?
About flowers bring to every the same perfection.
Yeah.
If I really don't control it, I feel like I fall from there. Perfection brings me down, and then I feel like I can't arrive at the end of the sentence.
Yeah, I think you just have to save and save and save. Now, perfection, what vowel? You can waste air on fuzz. F. So just be almost a V.
Okay.
Perfection. It's almost a V.
Ah, okay.
Anything that's sibilant, is that the right word? F, s, can waste breath. Flowers also you can waste breath. So, flowers, quick, fl. Don't go flowers. Flowers bring to every ear the same perfection, same. You sing on all voiced consonants. It really saves breath. Don't just sing on the vowels. Same perfection. And perfection as in eccomi. Perfection.
Okay.
So I think, give that a go and do a nice, almost a flowers, quite an energetic fl,
Okay.
not f.
Okay.
Have another go. Move. How's it? Yeah. Not flowers, flowers.
Okay.
Flowers bring to... Sing on the consonant. Tell me how many consonants I sing on when I do it. Flowers bring to every year the same perfection.
Like,
Loads.
yeah.
So, and it's not cheating. It's just keeping it steady.
Okay.
And so use them and don't be late off the tie.
Okay.
That's something most singers are, late off ties, because they're getting lost in the sound and they lose the beat. They lose where the first beat is, the next beat. So have a sense of an arrow going through it.
Okay. Yeah.
And that just because it's on one note, you get stuck. Keep it. Keep it moving, keep the breath moving, breathe late, don't breathe early, big mistake.
Okay.
You didn't breathe early, but don't be tempted to breathe early,
Ah.
because then you get lock. So breathe absolutely normal breath, but late as you dare,
Ah. Okay. I wouldn't have said that.
with lots of energy.
Okay.
Now, now you see, you could have gone on to solemn earlier.
Ah, okay.
Solemn. That's wasted breath. Solemn. And there you are. You see, everyone understands the word.
Yeah.
You don't need to sing on the note. You just about got there. That was great. Energy, energized, late, breath. One of those that goes, the rib cage just goes out quickly. And you think because it's slow, languorous music that the breathing should be slow and languorous. No, you are the swan with the feet under the water and you're working hard. But nobody knows what's going on, but your body is going like this. And that's the same for every single phrase in this song. Don't ever get trapped by the idea that it's a languorous aria. You have to work even harder than you would for something fast. That's great. And if you want, let the pureness show my grief, to hide my shame. That's okay.
Yeah.
But use the F of grief as the reason why you're breathing to point hide. I think hide is an important word. And if you're running out of breath, you're going to worry about shame. Don't you think?
Yeah.
It was up to you. Play it by ear at the time.
Okay.
Don't ever feel one rule must be stuck to. You can play it by ear. But I love the way you modify the lower and the upper notes. Wonderful. Very exciting career ahead of you. Brilliant. Anything else you want to ask? Anyone else got any questions? Go.
I have a question about roles that are like this, like extremely emotional, and there is a lot of there are a lot of things in the music and in the text that can be quite triggering at any moment. How do you calm yourself down, especially when you're on stage and it's happening and you're doing it? If you get like your larynx a bit tighter, how can you?
I would suggest that you go there in the dress rehearsal and the pre-dress. You really go there, you make yourself cry, you whatever it is, you know, you feel it. And then you bottle it. And you say, okay, I know what that is. However, my mind must be on technique. Never, ever think that doesn't need attention. Even at my age, I never, or rarely, stop thinking about where I'm going to place that note, how I'm going to breathe for that note with the high note in the middle of it, of a phrase. And you have to have 20% of your brain on stagecraft so you don't walk into somebody or fall off the stage. So you should never, for professional reasons, lose yourself. It's not collegial. It's, even if you're on your own, I would say go there in the dress rehearsal. If you're on the floor on your own, you might well be on the floor on your own at this point. But you do have to bear in mind the conductor out there who's still giving you information. And there'll come a point where he or she will say, "You're not watching me. I've got loads of players down here." We can't, I'm not just a piano that can change when you feel like it. You have to keep an eye on what I'm doing. We work together, singer, conductor. So keep your mind always on what you're doing, and that will stop you going into that area, which you went to in dress rehearsal or the pre. So, I'm not suggesting you shouldn't feel it to the max. But in performance, I don't think it's, as you say, healthy. The larynx goes up, the tears, it's fine to have. I mean, lots of performances where I've cried the end of Act 1 of Octavian leaving the Marschallin. I really do cry then. Maria Therese, yes, difficult. But I've kind of finished singing at that point. And she's dismissing me. So that's all right. I don't have much more to sing. So I'm just saying be careful with that. It was great what you did. I could really see your eyes were filling up, and that's enough. But if you do feel that your larynx is rising, you need to pull it in. Just, always have 20% on stagecraft, however many percentage on the conductor, and then the rest is your own. More than 20%, sorry. Any conductors here? Who's conducting? Yes, right. But I'm just saying never feel you're on your own. And actually that's a real blessing, because it is a work where we're all working together. It's not just you. If it was just you, then that's your soliloquy. That's fine. Do what you like. but it's rarely just you. But what you did was perfect. Bravo. Thank you, Nadia. Well, thank you to all three of you. Honestly, all three of you have wonderful, exciting futures. And I hope I can come and see you. Well, I will. Come and see you in performance wherever and whenever. Let me know. Or I'll just find out. Bye.